misses anything. And even though you are here tonight, which we appreciate, we'll send you the recording also afterwards, so you can watch it later. Again, it's so much information and so much to digest at once. You might want to refer back to it later. As far as referring back to something, we do thank all of you who submitted questions through the form we sent earlier this evening or this afternoon. The questions were sort of the questions that we received were sort of divided into like a general type of inquiries for the first half, and the second half of the questions were like specific to each person's particular like registration account or enrollment, or how do I change my days, or I can't come on this Thursday but would like to switch this. So for those particular those singular questions that pertain to your family alone, we will ask you to email us on the side or directly. Info@Aloha Beach Camp is always the best way to do it. info@alohabeachcamp.com, and we'll be able to help you make any answer any personal questions if it relates to your child situation, anything like that, or your enrollment. But just from a more macro, general, how does camp work view, this is what we'll talk about tonight, and we'll get to all of your questions that you submitted. We'll probably answer a lot more that you didn't ask for, and if there's anything we didn't cover, I don't know how much time we'll have for individual questions and answers. If we do, we're going to try to wrap up as quickly as we can, or I should say as close as we can, until 8 to 8:30, so that we don't so that we continue to respect everyone's time. Now, for those who have joined late, since I've been blabbling, whatever the word is on. This is Abby. That's Noah in the green shirt. Noah's in the green shirt. Josh is in the pink shirt. They're brothers. Abby and I am Eric. We are all camp directors at Aloha Beach Camp. Among probably there's 3 or 4 other ones too, and who may join us, but they're in school and studying for finals and all that. So that's where we are right now. I think I've covered most of the stuff that we want to, as far as a hello, and just as a general overview, a lot of people are coming to Aloha Beach Camp, families, for the first time, and others have been here before, but we want to make sure, no matter what your background is in relation to your experience with us, that you know what you're getting into and what we're about and all that. And we say we're located in LA. The city is in Malibu. The camp takes place principally in, and I'm going to move this down a little bit. There we go. The camp itself takes place at Zuma Beach, and it's sort of like a beach and water sports, surfing, aquatics, beach games, aquatic-based focused day camp. The philosophy of the camp, I don't know if we're going to get into that later, but we've got all these kind of beach activities, just hundreds of them, and we don't want anyone to ever feel pressured like they have to do something. Our staff will always encourage the kids to participate in activities, but nobody has to do anything they don't want to do. And there's no prior experience required. There's certain, we offer surfing, for instance, as one example of one activity among many. If a child doesn't want to learn to surf or doesn't want to do the surfing activity, that's perfectly fine. We will encourage him or her to participate, but maybe they'll do it tomorrow if they're not into it today. There's all kinds of alternative activities going on at any one time. So nobody, we're going to have 3 or 4 I was going to say major, I would say primary planned activities each day. So like 3 or 4 of them that we hope the kids will do, but there's dozens of additional ones going on at any one time. We are about to go into our 25th year, or 26th. We didn't operate in COVID, so summer of 2000 we was our first summer in business, first operating season. In December of 1999, we opened up, and we used the winter and spring of 2000 to introduce ourselves to the community, and then in the summer of 2000 we operated our first season, and back then it was like 12 campers a day, 15 campers a day, something like that. I came from, I started the camp with my wife, Terry. We were the executive directors of Tumbleweed Day Camp in Brentwood. Some of you may know that. And we were there for, 15, 20 years. So that means I'm about 700 55 years old, but now here we are at Aloha Beach Camp. And we're an accredited camp, ACA accredited camp. That means that we conform to and are held to up to like 300 different kinds of there's no other beach camps are accredited. So you should feel, have peace of mind that you're getting a huge combination of safety. And this is audited by a third party that comes and supervises us and make sure we're in compliance. But it goes to safety, to transportation. There's like 300 of them. Transportation standards, how we hire and train our staff, the program and activity administration and camp administration, and so on and on. And that's what you see for that logo down there. We get visited, or we go through this audit process once every 5 years. And this coming summer, they'll come and see us again. The American Camp Association is based in Indiana, and they will send representatives for a day of camp when we're operating at camp, and kind of we'll walk them through how we do things. And that's what accreditation means. And that was a mouthful. Did I cover everything? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yes, great. Thank you, Eric. Hi, everyone. I'm Abby. As Eric introduced, I am one of the camp directors at Aloha Beach Camp. This summer, I will primarily be working with our key campers, so our youngest campers, ages 4 to 6. And I'm very excited to see all of your campers there this summer. I'm just going to quickly go over what a sample daily schedule looks like at camp, just so everyone has a pretty clear idea of what the day looks like. So in the morning, all of the buses will arrive. It is a little bit of a staggered arrival, depending on where the bus is coming from. Lots of different stops all over. And then in the morning, there is some supervised free time before all the buses arrive. We start every day with a morning meeting. So we recognize that it is day-by-day enrollment, that every single day of the summer is going to be somebody's first day of camp. So every single morning we go over the rules, camp policies, what the day looks like, the big activities for the day, just setting the expectations every morning. We'll always do sunscreen, and bus lines are how we do our head counts. So we'll always do that in the morning as well. Then we jump into our first, what we call water sessions. So during this time is when campers are able to go in the ocean. They are able to swim, boogie board in the morning. They are able to surf if they would like to learn to surf. That is something we offer specifically in the mornings. That is what the lifeguards at Zuma Beach recommend, as that is when the ocean is best for learning to surf. So if your camper wants to surf, make sure that they know that that is offered in the mornings. And then we will always have optional activities running during those times too. So if your camper is not an ocean swimmer, that is okay. This is still the place for them. We have activities every day. It might be some kind of sports activity like flag football. We have arts and crafts available throughout the entire day. There's always an arts and crafts table. After each water session, we'll always do sunscreen and those bus lines again. We break for lunch, and then we'll go into another one of those sessions for our Kiki campers. There will be a total of 2 of those water sessions. For our older campers, there will be a total of 3. This is just because at the end of the day, Kiki Camp does an organized activity all together as an entire camp, whereas for the older kids, it's more elective based. So they really get to pick if they want to partake in those activities, or if they'd rather be in the ocean, they get that option throughout the whole day. So again, there will be a different offered activity as optional during each session. So for the examples in here, we've got cookie decorating, sandcastle competitions, smash ball tournament, seashell painting, and again, arts and crafts all day. We will end the day with changing, which is optional if your camper would like to change before they get on the bus to go home. And then we always provide a snack at the end of the day, and then the buses will leave. So that's a very general overview, and we will touch on all the specific details within this day as we go through the presentation. We just like to do a bit of an overview so everyone knows the expectations of, when surfing's happening, that activities are elective based, that campers can really choose what to do during these time sessions, and that we just have so many of these different activities running each day. So we can go on to the next, which is some of our activities at camp.
All right. Thank you, Abby. So hello, everyone. Thank you guys all so much for joining us today. My name is Noah. I'm also one of the head directors here at Aloha Beach Camp.
And I'm Josh. Yeah, I'm going to introduce myself now while we're unmuted. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time. And I cannot wait to see everybody at camp this summer.
Yeah, as Eric mentioned, we are twin brothers. So if you're seeing double, you really are.
Yes.
We're identical twin brothers. Your campers are going to mix us up. We're used to it. That's totally okay. We're expecting it. So no problem there. Eric mentioned how we have hundreds of activities throughout the summer, really, really amazing activities that every camper loves. So I'm just going to briefly go over some of the activities that we actually do at camp. So first and foremost, we have our aquatic activities. Those are my favorite. Those are some, most of the campers' favorites. That involves the boogie boarding, the swimming, things like that. So Abby mentioned how she's going to be the head director at Kiki Camp. Josh and I are going to be the head directors at the Kahuna and Nalu Camp, so the older groups of camps. Those camps will allow for 3 water sessions per day, while the Kiki campers allow for 2 water sessions per day. Each water session is roughly an hour in length, 45 minutes to an hour. So there's going to be no shortage of swimming in the ocean or boogie boarding in the ocean. We promise you that. And then we also know that lots of campers don't want to swim all day long. So that's why we do offer plenty of sand games and activities. Those games and activities range from dunk tank to lanyard making. We have lots of arts and crafts. We know campers love to make lanyards, love to make friendship bracelets, things like that. So we have that running all throughout the day, every single day. We also have more sports-based activities like capture the flag, football, wiffle ball games going on, and then we do have water rockets and lots more. Like I said, we have hundreds of activities that's listed all over our website. If we didn't mention it today, I promise there's more on there. You can definitely go check it out. But we do offer so many activities every single day. I promise your camper's never going to come home and be upset that they didn't participate in loads of activities. And then we do also have field trips. So that's one of my very favorite days. Islands Harbor. We go kayaking, stand-up paddle boarding, pedal boat queue that day as well. We grill hamburgers and hot dogs. We have vegetarian options as well. If your camper does have dietary restrictions, we can absolutely accommodate for that. That's one of my very favorite days. I love kayaking a lot. I love stand-up paddleboarding. The kids love it too. Like I said, that's out in Oxnard at Channel Islands Harbor, and we barbecue at a park right down the street at Oxnard Beach Park. That's a really fun day too. They have big volleyball courts where the campers can run big volleyball games, kickball games going on. We do have the dunk tank there as well. The dunk tank is a fan favorite, so we try to make it happen as much as we can. And then our fourth activity, and a big one for us as well, is we do offer surf lessons. So if a camper wants to surf, it's always going to be in a 1-to-1 ratio, one counselor per one camper learning to surf. We always do start the camper on the sand, make sure they feel comfortable on the board before they ever even get into the water, teach them the terminology of the board, teach them how to pop up. And then if they feel comfortable and they want to progress to the water, we take them into the water. And like I said, it's always going to be in a 1-to-1 ratio. There's never going to be 2 surfers for one counselor. It's always going to be 1 counselor and 1 camper learning to surf. So that's just a little bit of the activities that we do at camp. Like I said, there's hundreds, so many. These are some photos showing some of the activities that we really do. Kayak, boarding, surfing, pedal painting, so many more. Every single day, there's so many activities going on. I think I'm going to go back to Eric. Yep, there you
go. So a little bit about our staff. Where can we see the schedule for each week? Can you guys see these questions, or am I? Okay. So a lot of the questions. So we got a question on the side about sunscreen and activities and stuff. We'll 100% get to all of it, but on the website we do have a just to answer this real quick. Depending on which camp your camper's going to, yes, we're going to talk about restrooms, everything. I'm going to get ahead of myself. So promise, all the questions you have, we're already prepared to answer, and feel free to keep shooting them our way. But if we see one that we haven't thought of ahead of time, we'll tell you. But restroom activities, all that, I will just continue this. As far as the activities go, depending on what program your child goes to, Kiki Camp, the youngest kids the middle age is Kahuna, and the older kids are Nalu. On our website, you just go to the alohabeachcamp.com website and click the drop down from the front. It says like programs and activities, something like that, and you'll go right to the daily activity schedule. So as far as counselors go, it's about 50, even though there's 4 boys here. The staff is pretty much 50-50, and to reflect the same as the camper community, about 50-50. And the counselors, we get application, one after another. They're still coming in by the boatload today. We heard people are applying for jobs all over the place, and we hire about maybe 30 people out of maybe a couple hundred applicants. They go through a group interview at first. It's probably 5, 6, 8, 10 applicants at once. Then once they go through that with our staff, maybe 2 or 3 of them will be asked back for an individual interview. Then we will make our hiring decision based on that. Then they all have to go through fingerprinting process, through FBI background check, sex offender registry, national sex offender registry. What am I missing? As far as 18 years old goes, criminal background check as well. But as far as being 18 goes, it used to be 19, and the vast majority of them are way over 19, because we have a high counselor return rate. They've been working for many years here, and new counselors are generally 19 because we want them to have had at least 1 year of college. It says 18 because we will make some exceptions. We've had counselors who they already did go to college, and they, when they were 17. But it used to be, as you know, we provide transportation, and we're going to get into transportation. Years back, our insurance company, the staff drove the buses. Now we have a professional, this is years and years ago. And so our insurance company was the mandate was that the staff had to be 19, because they would get their, typical driver's license at 16, and then had to have 3 years of driving experience before they could get a bus driver's license. And that would be when they were 19. But now we don't drive. We have a professional drivers that do that. And so we still prefer them to be 19 at a minimum, but we will, some more responsible, mature, and those we feel would be a good fit, we'll make those exceptions. But like these guys right here, this guy in the orange shirt, Aloha Beach Camp orange shirt, that's he's been here for like 5 years, something like that, him and his brother. But so that guy on the right, with the green drawstrings, sorry about the dog, green if you heard that, this guy Jack, he's been here for like 6 years. He's a surf instructor. So that guy on the left, with the lei on his with the sunglasses and the lei, that guy's Preston. He's like 24, 25. So just so you know. All right.
Great. All right. So I'm going to jump into what I'm sure a lot of you have on your minds this evening, which is some safety scenarios. These tend to be our most frequently asked questions where safety is concerned. So we want to go through these. So first and foremost, of course, is ocean supervision. We know it might sound a little bit daunting to have your campers in the ocean at camp, but we do want to assure you that we have been operating for 25 years and have 100% all-time safety record. This is something that is obviously our priority number one. So we are at Zuma Tower 7, which has our own beach lifeguard specifically assigned to our camp program, in addition to the fact that we are right next to the lifeguard headquarters at Zuma Beach. So it's just an additional level of security there. All of our staff is CPR and first aid certified, and our leadership staff and some of our returning staff is also additionally lifeguard certified. So everyone is very capable and competent in terms of the staff and supervision. And then in terms of actually being in the ocean, we want to assure you all that most of our staff during each water session is in the ocean with your campers. We call what we do the box in the ocean. So if you can visualize, we have our staff actually facing their backs to the ocean, which we tell campers you should never do, but for our staff, it is essential for making sure campers are safe. So we have essentially a line of counselors standing with their backs to the ocean in the water, facing forward towards where the lifeguard tower is, where the parking lot is, with their eyes on all of the campers. And then they form a box in the water. We have staff then on the wet sand with their eyes facing the water so that they can keep an eye on everything. So it is really a defined space that campers are in. Campers are never able to go into the ocean at a depth that they are not able to stand. So that is especially true with our Kiki campers. We really don't go in much past knee depth for Kiki campers. So they always have to have 2 feet on the ocean floor. That with the exception of surfing for both camps, but then there will always be a 1-to-1 staff to camper ratio in those scenarios anyway. So we want to assure you that the ocean supervision is really on lock and is something that is obviously our #1 priority. So that is ocean supervision. Touching on first aid and emergencies, I've covered a little bit here, but we do have our own beach lifeguard. And again, all of our staff is first aid certified. So for anything in terms of, minor scrapes, bumps, and bruises, our staff is absolutely able to handle those with great care. We have plenty of first aid supplies and a fully equipped first aid kits. And then if it's anything above that, we do have the lifeguard there who is trained to assist with anything beyond those minor things that our staff will handle. And then in terms of bathroom supervision, so it seems like this might have already come up in the chat and is something that parents do frequently ask about. We are at Zuma Tower 7. We have a permit to operate there, so it is our space to use. With that said, there are not typically a lot of other people around that part of the beach. We have sole permit to use that space. But with that being said, the bathroom is not part of that permitted space. It is not solely ours to use. And so we have very specific rules that we train staff in with bathroom supervision. So campers are never to go to the bathroom without a staff member, without shoes, and without a buddy. So that is our very strict bathroom rule. Counselors are always going to walk your camper to the bathroom and are always going to just check to make sure everything is sound and great. And this is not something we have issue with. It's something that I think parents worry about more than it is actually ever an issue. But it is something that we have thought ahead about, and it is something that our staff knows that they have to check on, and that campers know that they cannot go to the bathroom without a counselor. Yes. So someone seems to have asked. So another kid walks with them and a counselor comes to. Yes, exactly. So we refrain from situations where a counselor is ever one-on-one with a camper. And then so that we'll always also have an additional camper with them. It will always be in a pack of at least 3, and with one of them being a counselor at all times. And then just in terms of general ratios, these differ a little bit depending on the camp and the activity. Our Kiki camp, the ratios are a bit lower. We say they're about 5-to-1 in terms of Kiki campers to staff. And then for the older kids, it's about 7 or 8-to-1 as a ratio. And then, of course, with the exception of surfing, that will always be 1-on-1. And in the water, we tighten those ratios a little bit as well. So they'll typically be a little bit lower in the water also. So that was a very general overview of our safety scenarios, but I do want to reassure and reemphasize what Eric mentioned about, the ACA accreditation and all these steps. These are things that we would not be operating if we had not thought long and hard about and hadn't put into practice very effectively. Terry, who is the other camp owner, and I have been working on our ACA standards, and many of these are covered in there. So it is definitely something that we have covered. And I will move on to the next, because that was a lot of talking.
All right, thank you, Abby. Another very common question that we get is, what should my kid bring to camp? So I'm going to talk a little bit about that now. Just
Can
basically.
you move it? Can you move a little? There you go. Yeah.
Is this good here?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to start with talking a little bit about what to wear to camp. So in the morning, we always say that you should come in a bathing suit or some kind of swimming clothing. And on top of that, you can wear, it might be a little chilly in the morning times, you can wear, a jacket or something over your shirt. And we do recommend bringing your Aloha Beach Camp t-shirt or rash guard that you'll be receiving at camp. And as far as shoes, you can wear flip-flops, Crocs, slides, anything like that, comfortable beach shoes. We also do recommend bringing a backpack to carry the following items in, like sunscreen, water bottle. We always want to stay hydrated, and it's very important to bring a water bottle. We do always recommend bringing a towel, and there it says come to camp in a bathing suit. And I'll talk a little bit about lunch. We do recommend bringing a lunch. There is a snack shack that's nearby, but it's often closed. And when it is open, the food is extremely overpriced, and we don't find that it's worth it. So we do recommend bringing a lunchbox, a sack lunch, every single day to camp. And then there are some additionals or optional things that you can bring to camp. That's like a hat. The sun can get very hot, and we want to avoid any sunburns at all costs. We do always recommend, I talked about sunscreen, but you can bring sunglasses or a plastic bag for wet clothes at the end of the day. Some campers do elect to change, so you can bring a change of clothes at the end of the day, but that is totally optional as well. And then, yeah, that was a little bit about the lunch and the snack shack.
There we go. Okay, thank you, Josh. Okay, one thing I just wanted to option to buy lunch. No, let's pretend there isn't, because there's a snack bar there, but since COVID has ended, it's very unreliable as to whether it will be open on a given day. It usually isn't. When it is open, it's a surprise. It is overpriced and the food is disgusting. And it's like $12 for French fries. So you don't want to do that. So we eat early, like 11 o'clock, 11:30, so there's no time. We don't have a refrigeration equipment, but we have lots of shade, like big canopies and umbrellas and stuff. So the kids, there's not enough time for the food to go bad. And if you just send a lunch, that's the best way to do it. And I also wanted to go back, because when Abby was talking about the safety and stuff like that, which was a brilliant job, Abby, and she's right. I want to reiterate two things. Where there was first of all, any of these negative things that your mind can be playing tricks on you and all this, anything that you're concerned about, it's dialed. You don't have to worry. Anything is like that you're worried about is more perceived than actual. I would say you should feel you want to make sure that there's been parents, they hide somewhere and they watch us and call at night and say, hey, I just want to let you know I supervise camp going on for a couple hours today, and I want to let you know you did what you said you would do. And that's the best thing we could ever hear. And so we want you to feel like you can do that too. You could show up at camp any time unannounced, supervise what we're doing. Don't want you to feel nervous. Although when you're around water and stuff like that, it's totally natural too. But we're not going to let anything happen. Nothing has ever happened. And I'm knocking on wood. Oh, that might make the dogs. Okay. Okay. A question came about during that time. It's okay. You can say that. A question came about during that time as to how we contain the kids so that they don't wander. I think that was so that they don't escape and like we lose track of them. No, there's no way for anybody to lose track of anyone there. Abby was mentioning we have a permit, so we're at a public beach, but we are in a permitted private area at our own lifeguard tower. And when we get there in the morning, there's about every single one of us has a firm count as to how many campers are there at camp each day, how many are on your bus, how many are at camp itself, how many boys, how many girls, how many counselors, how many everything. And we are taking head counts probably 4 or 5 times a day at least. And there isn't, one thing we say to teach staff is how much time could go by before you notice that somebody might be missing. It's not going to happen. But we have a lost camper policy. We'll never use it in 25 years, and we're not going to ever use it. But we just want you to know, we get there, we check in with the lifeguard, we say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Lifeguard, we have this number of kids today, and they help us keep track, and we're counting all day. And as part of our permit, we use these huge orange construction cones, like those rubber orange cones, and put them around the perimeter of our campsite. And everybody must stay in that coned area and not go out of it without the counselors. And we also have wristbands, which are, first of all, everybody's wearing a camp shirt or raft guard. We also have, think of it like a bracelet or a wristband that says Aloha Beach Camp on it, and it identifies us from others on the beach. There's no possible way for anybody to wander off or get lost or anything like that. Let's say somebody did walk out of that coned area. Because we have a permit, there's nobody on the sides of us. The counselor just says, hey, bud, where are you going? And that's the end of it. All right. So, and the staff is like, for example, here, just last thing, when we have lunch, this is not like a job at Target where you get a 45-minute lunch break because you work there and you clock in and out. The staff is like, just has to be tuned in the whole time. So when we have lunch, the counselors sit in a perimeter around we all eat together and sit in a perimeter around the whole coned area and keep the kids under their supervision that way. But it's not just at lunch, it's all day like that. We're surrounding the whole coned area. Within that coned area I was talking before about canopies and shade and balls and toys and equipment is all in this coned area. It's a big, big area. Now, for sunscreen, that tangent is over. We ask you to have the kids sunscreen, lathered up in sunscreen when they get on, before they come to camp, as part of you helping them get dressed in the morning or whatever you're doing. Please make sure they're covered in sunscreen. They get to camp, and then we give them a little free play, and then we put on sunscreen again. All right. And they'll say, well, my mom and dad I already did it at home. And we just tell them, well, it rubbed off on the bus, so we have to do it again. So now they got sunscreen on twice. And then throughout the day, we have organized, or I should say dedicated periods of group application sunscreen time when we are supervising and or physically applying the sunscreen to the kids all day long. If the kids are getting sunburn and all that, then we're not doing our job right. Unless sometimes we have kids who says, my mom says I don't have to wear sunscreen. In that case, we're going to ask you to provide a note or something like that. But how this works is that the younger kids, like I think it's 6 and under, we will help them physically put on the sunscreen. We prefer you to send a stick, or so we don't do any limit the physical touching or spray. But if you send cream and that's what you need to do, we will put it on. Over that, the 7 and over, they are going to be responsible for putting it on themselves. They can have a buddy or help them do that, especially in places like their backs and where you can't typically reach on your own. But the counselors, the staff are right there on top of everybody, making sure that everybody's got the sunscreen on. And if it gets to a point where, if it gets to a point where kids are just like, I'm not going to do it, or I don't want to do it, then we'll, involve the parent. But this is how we do it here. And at the end of the day, they'll go home and you can ask them, how many times did you put on sunscreen today? And they'll be like 4 or 5, something like that. Yeah. I'm reading the bottom about a hat and all that. Yeah. Anything you send to add to the coverage, sun protection is best, even like pairs of sunglasses and stuff. We also want to stress that the activity schedule the activities that we do, we try to alternate them. So if the kids are playing maybe a game of soccer on the sand or in the water for 40 minutes, the next 30 minutes or 40 minutes, they're going to be under the canopy in the shade doing an arts and crafts project. Then they can rotate and go back out into the sun after that. But they're never going to be, all day long, 5, 6, whatever it is, hours at the beach in the sun. That would be too much. Okay. I didn't know I was.
Thank you, Eric. Yeah, so I'm just going to briefly talk about our lost and found. So we do keep lost and found at camp every single day. After the day ends, we go around, do a sweep of the beach, see any leftover hoodies, towels, anything like that. Before the campers actually do get on the bus, we call out, see if any of the lost and found is claimed. Maybe someone recognizes their shirt, but a lot of the time they don't, right? So especially with the younger kids, sometimes, we know that camper has been wearing this t-shirt all day long, but they think they haven't been, right? Usually with the Kiki kids, the 4 to 6 year olds, sometimes they just don't remember. So we do advise that label their campers things, water bottles, back of their t-shirts, hoodies, things like that, just so we always know which hoodies, towels belongs to each camper, things like that. And if at the end of the day your camper comes home, you check their backpack, they don't have their lunchbox, water bottle, you can always send us an email. We can go through our lost and found, send you a photo, confirm that that's your campers, and we can get it to them their next day.
Just quickly, I'm sorry. Anybody who invents a lost and found, a way to fix lost and found problems for camps and schools and stuff, I'll invest in it if you have a good app or if you're an entrepreneur. Okay.
Perfect. Okay, so absences. We are hopeful that this won't impact you, but we also understand as a camp that, kids get sick, last minute things come up with the family, that there might be a day that your camper is scheduled to come and at the last minute they cannot attend. We do ask that to the best of your ability, you let us know that before about 7:45 a.m. just so that their bus counselor isn't waiting for them at their stop, just as a courtesy to everyone involved to let us know. We are happy to schedule makeup days. So if your camper is sick and they cannot come, that day is not just lost forever. You're absolutely able to reschedule. We just ask that it can't be rescheduled twice. So your camper's sick, can't come, reschedule. If your camper is then sick again on your rescheduled day, that third try is a little bit too hard logistically. So just making sure that you schedule for an alternative day that they're able to come. And that is absences.
All right, here we go. So, this is a two-part operation. There's the camp division and then there's the transportation division. And everybody, as part of a benefit of enrollment, transportation is included in your. Can you hear the dog? No. Okay. Everybody gets transportation as part of their enrollment fee, and there's probably 20 some odd bus stops throughout LA and the Valley, and Conejo Valley. Now this year we have some in Westlake and Thousand Oaks, and this is just for color. This is not, the buses look different every year. This is going to be yellow school buses, so it's pretty to look at, but that's probably not what the bus is going to look like. But it'll most likely be a yellow school bus with Aloha Beach Camp signs on the side. And please be sure you get on, because a lot of the times there's a lot of local camps, and oftentimes many of us use the same locations. So you might see like 2 or 3 camps or more coming to the same bus stop. And there's been times in the past where it can be a little confusing, where a camper thinks they're coming onto the Aloha Beach Camp bus, but it's really the Cali Camp bus or vice versa. and we'll be able to, you know, solve that issue right there. But it can be, if that does happen, it can be a little intimidating for a child. So we try to avoid that. So the way you'll get to know us is by the signs on the bus, and also there's a counselor at every bus stop, pretty much. So you'll get to know that counselor, and they will wait there in the morning with you at the bus, and they'll be there in the afternoon to greet you when we get home. There's a transportation page on our website. It's tab is correct, and you'll be able to find your a bus stop that we offer that's close to your house. And then if you haven't chosen your bus stop yet, you could look at that and then go into your family portal and choose it, or just email us. And can somebody get that one? I'm sorry, it's okay. Okay, it just said raised a hand, so I don't see. Okay, so now, as far as I'm thinking of bringing Terry on this one. She's trying to calm the dogs down, but so everyone should write this number down. But well, again, for those who have joined after we've gotten started tonight, we should have said this. We're recording this, so you're going to be able to we'll send this out to you, and you can catch up and watch it later if any parts of it you missed interest you. But Terry, this number, you should write this down, put it in your phone. This is like a very, very, very important person. This is a VIP because she manages the entire bus, the bus side of operation. And if you're going to be a few minutes late to the bus stop, or you can't make it today, or you need to switch a day here or there, she's the person you want to talk to. And she can, you know, if you text her, give her a second or two to get back to you. That's probably all she'll need. She's got the fastest thumbs in the West, but I'm going to bring her in here, and she'll let her speak for herself. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I've been on dog duty for the last couple minutes. Sorry if you hear the barking. Just to reiterate the things that all of our directors and Eric were saying, our dogs are bad tonight. I just did want to emphasize to you that you've made the right choice in sending your campers to this camp. This is our life. Eric and I have done this our entire adult life. Our children have grown up literally at this camp. Josh and Noah and our older daughter, Sarah, who's now 27, started camp at 3 years old, went all the way through, worked all the way through. And when they were little and we were hiring for staff, we would say, why should we trust you with our children? And convince us why. And we still hire exactly the same way. And we would not hire anyone who we did not feel personally okay taking care of our own children. So I just want you to feel confident that we take safety very seriously. This is not a little something we do on the side for fun. This is our life, our livelihood, our family business, and we all take it very seriously. So with the buses, please feel free to text me anytime. If you have questions, concerns, if you're going to be late, if you can't find the bus, sometimes that happens on the first days, please text. I would just ask that you don't call, because there's a time in the morning of about an hour from 7:45 to 8:45 where I speak with every single bus rider, all the bus drivers, many parents, and it's overwhelming. So I can't unfortunately take a phone call during that time, unless of course it's an emergency, and then I can. But if you can just text me, I'm a very fast texter. And that's it. We had said, if you're going to be absent, just please let us know. I can let the bus riders know not to expect you. The other things I do at camp, in addition to just working on the buses, is I do a lot of the admin tasks. So you'll also talk to me for makeup days, or if you need to switch your weeks around, or any of those things. If you want to add to your extension, if you want to do extension days, I do all the behind the scenes. I don't get to go to the beach like all the rest of the directors. I'm in the office with our really obnoxious, crazy barking dogs. I'm so sorry about that. But I do all the behind the scenes stuff. So please feel free to text me anytime, and I'll do my best to get back to you quickly. We try definitely to be efficient. I was thinking there's something I'm going to tell you. One thing we changed this summer is that we are putting an air tag on all of the buses with all of the counselors. So I'll be able to track the buses this summer in real time. So Sometimes you all know LA traffic is super unpredictable. West Side traffic is especially. I know the anxiety of getting to the bus stop and your bus isn't there and you think the worst. What happened? Where's the bus? If you text me, I'll be able to get a real-time ETA on your bus, which is a good upgrade, I think, for this year. So, all right, I'm going to go back to our barking dogs. It's nice to meet everybody. I'm sure I'll talk to most of you this summer.
Okay. Did we get all that? Yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure who was meant to talk about the code of conduct, but I can just jump in
Oh, I
and
can do it.
say a few things, or if Eric, you want to do it. Either way,
Well, let's just,
go for it.
everybody's sitting here waiting for me. Did I do something wrong, or can you still hear me? Yeah.
You're
I
good.
clicked,
You're good.
I clicked this arrow and it like my whole screen changed. Okay. When you sign up for camp, part of there's like, as you know, all of you have already done it. Part of it, you know, that's like a 4 or 5 different screens that you jump from here to there. And one of them talks about behavior standards and guidelines and stuff. And there's a form which we call the Day Camp Code of Conduct, which you've all read. And this is just, we want to be sure that everyone feels safe and welcome at camp. It's just like a requirement of the camp community that everyone feels like this is a safe place to be, a fun place to be, and we don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable. And what we're talking, so here you see teasing, horseplay, all that. These are probably the kind of words that are in the code of conduct. The main thing to remember is that if your camper feels uncomfortable, they should immediately, don't wait till the end of the day, go right to the counselor right then, and deadline communicate. Okay, go right to the counselor right then and say, you know, this other child is bothering me, or whatever it is. We will address any issues on the spot, and we don't believe in punishment. We believe in helping children learn and understand what kind of behavior is acceptable and what is makes somebody else uncomfortable. And so that's kind of our philosophy on that. I want to talk a little bit about diversity and inclusivity as well, as long as we're on this. Oh, that was good. As long as we're on this topic, you don't necessarily see it here tonight, but our staff had you come to an open house or other online events, or as you will see during camp itself, or at your meet your child's bus counselor. We are committed to Aloha Beach Camp is a camp community. I'm thinking, so I say the right words, where every camper needs to feel safe, valued, and respected, regardless of their background, lifestyle, identity. I would think that creates a richer, a more dynamic community at camp that enhances the experience for all of us. And I hopefully I'm getting my point across, that we celebrate every child at Aloha Beach Camp. Yeah, I just want to say that.
All right. Very nicely said, Eric. Thank you. So sometimes we get questions from families. Maybe they signed up their child a long time ago, and maybe they forgot what dates that their kid was signed up to come to camp, or they want to get like past payment information, things like that. All of that can be done through your parent portal. So you can see what dates that you were supposed to you were signed up for. You can see payments, all that good stuff. The thing that you cannot do through the portal is make date changes to your enrollment. That'll be done on our end. So if you ever need to change dates that you're signed up for camp, whether, you know, for whatever reason, you would just shoot us an email and we would go into the portal on our end and make that change for you guys.
Yes. So just a little bit more on the portal, and to re-emphasize that you cannot make your own changes. I would say that this is probably the most frequent email we get is parents saying they don't understand, they aren't able to make their own change. Something must not be working. We assure you it's working. That is something that you don't have the capability to do in your own portal. So just email us and we will get that changed. And then just another one of the more frequent questions we get, and that seems to be starting to get asked in the chat as well, is with regard to the bus stop that you have selected. So again, some families think, they've signed up a long time ago, can't remember which stop they selected. We've had a couple stop changes, aren't sure what their stop is or want to change their stop. This is something, of course, you're able to email us and we're happy to do for you, but you do have the capability to also do that yourself. So if you do go into your registration portal and you log into your account, there is a section that says forms. That's kind of the left-hand side of this graphic, and you have that household form. So if you click on that form and click the button that says update and scroll all the way down to additional information, this is where your bus stop information lives. So you are able to see there the bus that you've currently selected. And if you need to make changes, you are welcome to do that in there. The only caveat that we will put on that is to please not change your bus stop the night before your camper is coming to camp. We run our bus reports a few days prior. So for example, we typically do it the weekend before that week of camp. So even if your camper is coming on Friday, if you need to change your bus stop, let's say your camper decided to have a sleepover with a friend and they're going to go to a different bus stop than you had planned that morning, that is a situation to please text Terry with. Do not go in and change your bus stop the morning of or the night before or even 2 days before, just because our reports are run and we'll be expecting your camper at the stop that they were listed at when we did run those reports. So right now you're absolutely able to go in, and I do encourage everyone, if you're having any hesitation about what stop you're at, to go into your portal tonight, just check it out. Get that extra security of, okay, I picked the right one. And if you run into any trouble, of course, email us. And then I'm seeing, a couple of specific bus stop questions in the chat. So just to address those, there is not really a deadline for communicating or selecting the bus stop save for that weekend before your camper comes to camp. So if your camper is coming in week 10, you've got some time to figure it out. If your camper is coming in week 1, we would encourage you to do it as soon as you can. Just the sooner we have the information, the better. But the hard deadline, I would say, is really the weekend before your camper comes as best as you can. And again, last minute changes, you can always text Terry. There is a Porter Ranch stop to address that. That has been, we have switched bus companies this year, and initially we're not going to offer our Porter Ranch stop, but it has been re-added because so many families requested it. It's backed by popular demand. So it is available. And then, it looks like those were the specific bus stop questions there. But again, any questions and concerns, feel free to email us, but this information is in your portal as well.
Could I say one thing before you talk about this?
Mm-hmm.
If just regarding how Abby is talking about the bus stops and things, we know there's going to be like maybe some days you're going to want to change a day here or there. Somebody asked, could they apply days not coming from this year to next year? Yes, you could do that. If you know already you're not going to be here, you want to move it to next year as a credit, we'll store that as a full credit for you. But like, if you have any specific bus questions, like, I guess I want to say any questions related to transportation or enrollment should go through Terry, not through your child's bus counselor or bus driver. The bus driver isn't even a part of us. It's just his contracted company. But the bus counselor, if you are scheduled to attend tomorrow, but you don't want to come tomorrow, and you want to come the day after, and you say to your bus driver, your bus counselor, we don't want to come tomorrow, we want to come the day after instead, the counselor is going to say, okay, that's great, but I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. Could you please, respectfully tell the office? So we just want to ask you that anything like that, or if you need to change your enrollment, or your camper is going to be going home on a different bus one day and a different bus the next morning or something like that, anything like that, please go directly through to our office, because the bus counselors have so much to think about and they don't always have the most up-to-date information. So the answers that they give you might not be accurate. So just wanted to throw that out there. Yeah.
Great. And then also, just before we leave the realm of transportation entirely, I see that there was a couple questions regarding buses and bathrooms. So yes, we do offer reminders that everyone goes to the bathroom before the bus at the end of the day. And we do also want to emphasize that the buses make multiple stops. So if your camper is on the last stop, there will probably be 3 stops before there, and they're able to use the bathroom at those bus stops. If they're in between camp and that first bus stop, and it's a real emergency, of course, the bus driver and the counselor will have the bus pull over somewhere to use the restroom. But we definitely appreciate you all encouraging your campers to use the bathroom in the morning before they get on the bus. That definitely helps us. But there are always multiple bus stops where campers can use the restroom. And then, of course, in an emergency, they will pull over. They just let their bus counselor know. And with that, we will turn it back to Noah.
All right. Thank you, Abby and Eric. Okay, so this is something that I'm really excited about. I know Josh, Abby, Eric, Terry, we're all really excited about it. Yep. So this is something that we've wanted to do for a long time. We never have for as long as Aloha Beach Camp has been running. But for the very first time, we do have a camp store. So on your camper's first day of camp, they will be given a free Rash Garden t-shirt. The t-shirt this year looks something like this. Abby's wearing it. I'm wearing it. Josh is wearing the pink version of the t-shirt. So those are totally free, come with the enrollment, and your camper will be given that on the first day of camp. But if your camper just wants to rep some extra Aloha Beach Camp merch, show off their camp spirit, we do have a camp store, which includes bucket hats, other kind of trucker hats, crew necks, hoodies, zip-up jackets, things like that. Different designs in these. I already ordered a couple different things that I'm really excited about. They look really good. Parents have asked us for so long, do you guys have a camp store? Can my camper have other merch to wear? Now the answer is finally yes. So if you guys do want to purchase any other camp merch, I'm going to drop a link to the camp store in the chat now. Perfect. I think that went through. No pressure at all, totally optional, but just something that we're really excited about and that we wanted to share with you guys tonight.
Noah put together the camp store, and he's been pouring his blood, sweat, and tears into it. So it'd mean a lot to him if everybody was repping some cool bucket hats on the first day of camp.
Thanks, Josh.
I saw. Oh, I was gonna. I don't know, Abby, if that's the answer, but there was a question about contract.
This was just for the bus times of pickup and drop off. So yeah,
okay.
I haven't answered the contractors. Go for it.
Okay, yeah. So there's a question about whether the bus drivers are contracted. Yes, they are, and their training and all that. So many years ago, most of us probably have seen tumbleweed transportation buses on the road. Over the years, I'll date myself again. I was one of the guys that started the Tumbleweed Transportation Bus Company back in like 1992 or 4 or something like that. And years went by, and I left Tumbleweed to start Aloha Beach Camp. Terry, my wife, stayed there, managed the bus company because I wasn't doing it anymore. And but the bus drivers, and last summer, Tumbleweed was acquired by another bus company called First Student. So you probably wouldn't know. They might not have say Tumbleweed on them anymore, but they'll say Aloha Beach Camp. And as far as the drivers go, the drivers are the same. As far as we know, we're still most of the people that worked at Tumbleweed when it was acquired by First Student retained those people. So we're going to still have the same bus drivers we've had for 15 or 20 years. They know us, we know them. They are all drug tested. They are trained and inspected and supervised or under the CHP regulates them. So it's totally above board.
Okay, it's doing that funky thing where it doesn't want the last page to show up, but that was the last content page. Eric, if you want to just wrap up.
Is there is another page that isn't showing, or this is the last? Oh, okay. I mean, I hope we've. Thank you again, everybody. I hope we've covered everything. If there's any, we meant to wrap it up by 8:30. My thing says 8:33. So, oh, cool. Thank you, Melissa. We're every one of you. We want every one of you to feel like you're the only one here. That's the service you're going to get. We want all the campers to feel halfway that they're the only one here, and the other half that they made a ton of friends at camp. We know, that the way we enroll kids here, the kids that you're able to sign up, it's not a traditional way where you can just pick and choose the days you want to come instead of like conforming to like a prearranged session schedule. Those session schedules are great for the camp. Because they give them a predictable, pattern of enrollment and income. We don't think it should be that way. We want it to be good for you and flexible for you. So sometimes that means you can come a day here, a day there, disappear for a little bit, come back. Sometimes that puts a little concern in parents' minds, that structure, because they feel like, well, what if my camper misses something, or what if they don't know? You don't have to worry about that, because new kids are starting every day. The same count, even though your child may not come for a week or two in between one day and another, the counselors are going to be there when they come back. Many of the same kids will be there when they come back. We're very cognizant of that. And there's kids, I think in a different one of these we had recently, not a parent orientation, but like a open house kind of similar thing. Some people signed up for the Friday of week 10, our very last day of camp. So that for us is the last day of camp, but for those kids, it's their first day. So we want to make sure that they feel that, and they're super fired up that they're at camp for their summer, which is just one day of camp. And we're going to make everybody feel like that this summer. We didn't do our job if not. And all of us are here. Our phone number, I think, is all over our website. Our email, as you know, is info@alohabeachcamp.com. We're definitely going to every single time we tell ourselves, before this thing goes on, these events, let's record this, and we always forget to do it. Never do it. We did it this time, thankfully. So we'll email it out to everybody through the same email system you got it from, this link from. And if you came late or you just want to watch this again, it's riveting. We know that. But I think that's it. If you have any questions that we didn't get to, oh, yeah, you're just sorry. Okay. If there's anything else, throw them in the chat, and we'll wait a few minutes. Or if anyone wants to, there was one time when it said raise your hand. If anyone wants to ask a question to the group, go ahead. Thank you, everybody, for the nice comments. Do the counselors get informed about the dietary? Yes. You want to get that one, Abby?
Sure. Yes. So as you probably noticed when you did the registration, just for everyone listening, the question is, do the counselors get informed about the dietary restrictions of the child? When you did your registration, there is a medical form component where you fill out any medical needs of the child, dietary restrictions, anything like that. That is printed every single day and is given to the directors the night before to review, and is given to counselors in the morning. So all dietary restrictions, allergies, medical needs, everything like that is known by all staff every day. So absolutely, yes, they will know about dietary restrictions.
This is what old people do. They like put their glasses on to see some words and then they take it out. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Oh, cool. Glad we were able to. And if you don't leave here, or if you do leave here and still feeling like you didn't get all your questions answered, ask away, through calls or emails, and text Terry. If you could. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Everybody's so cool. Don't. Oh, somebody say. Ask us. Is that for us?
I think it's just an accidental unmute.
Oh, okay. Credits and refunds. So it works. The big answer is you're never going to lose the money. The narrowed down answer is if you want to drop a day or switch a day or you can't come, you always get makeup days for days you miss. And that's never, as Abby was saying though, there's no makeup days for missed makeup days. That happens sometimes. So if you schedule a makeup day and you don't come to the makeup day, what we'll do for that is give you it as a full credit to the next year. So you'll never even miss that. But if you can't make a day or you need to switch it around, or you're always going to get credit for that. If you're asking for a refund, and it's like the example we use is like an airplane. Like there's all these seats on an airplane, and when the airplane if someone doesn't show, we don't have enough time to fill it with somebody else. So we will give you a refund for your missed time if we could fill your spot with another child. That's perfectly fine. If we can't, then we'll just ask that you use the day future in the summer or in the next season, like 2025. That's not going to ever expire. Days that you buy now will never. You'll always be able to apply it to the future. If at the end of the summer, any unused days will always carry over to the next season. Okay. All right. Thank you. And aloha. Bye, everybody. Are we done? I want to make sure we covered everything. Yeah. All right. Cool. Can we see through? I didn't get to see that.
Yeah, one just jumped in. So can we see through our portal if days are full? So you won't be able to see that in your side of the portal for an application you've already submitted. That is only with reference to days you've already picked. But you can just log in to the front end to go and try and essentially add days like a new registration. If a day is full, it just won't let you add it. It will tell you that it's full, and you would have the option to add to the wait list instead. So you can see that availability live time just by trying to add those days. So hopefully that clarifies that. And yeah, you're able to see that. But again, if anything's ever unclear, just send us an email and we're happy to answer those availability questions too.
We forgot something. This is for, since you're all here, if you decide you want to add days, you don't have to pay the $50 thing again. People ask that a lot. You don't have to do that, but what we have been noticing, the closer we get to camp, it's like 12 days or something, is people are extending their original enrollment time. So, and some of them are adding like weeks at a time. So what we did was, now we put this coupon code on there that's like called free. I think the code is free camp. It's not free day, it's free camp. And you'll get a free day for the 5th. If you extend by 4 days, we'll give you and use the code free camp, you'll get the 5th day for free for any extensions that you use. The way to do that though is to choose 4 days and pay for the 4 days, then alert us, oh, I just did the 4 days, and we will work with you and give you the free 5th day. Okay. Oh, you still got to put that code in there so that we can match it up. No, you don't have to do that. That's just, it's basically a 20% deal because you're getting, like, you could come Monday through Thursday, pay for those and get Friday free, or come Thursday through, and however you want your free day. Yeah. But that's totally optional. All right. And we say that because there's some days sold out right now, but, or like the week 8, for some reason, we're all sort of like stumped in here. Why is that such a popular week? But that's getting very full. And then there's other ones that are getting to the sort of our full means like is how many seats and seatbelts are on the bus. Oh, week 8 is sold out, I'm being told. Okay, so this is what's happening. So and it's sold out by a combination of new campers signing up every day and people, families like us tonight that are already registered and then extending their original enrollment. So if you want to do that and you want to get a free day of camp, then you would sign up for 4 days of camp and you'll get and enter the code free camp and you'll get the 5th day for free. If you, it will expire June 1st. That's Saturday.
And just to clarify, I just typed the answer too. But this is for extensions on original registration. So if you signed up 6 months ago for 4 days, you would have to add 4 days to get that 5th day free. Just to clarify, it is an extension rate.
That's for people here tonight. Okay, okay. What is July 12th? Is that a field trip?
So there were originally on the calendar, and I believe it is still on there, some additional potential field trip dates. I think that is what that is asking about. If
we have extra field trip days that says to be announced or something, or
yeah, I think on the calendar, I believe so. I think that's maybe what we're referencing here.
let us figure that one out. I am not sure what that means. I don't know. Do you know, guys? Or that means Josh is going to take us all out for ice cream that day. I think that's the field trip.
It is possible.
Okay.
So in past years, we have like some special midsummer, field trips, like we've done a farewell cruise or things like that. Those are very much subject to just availability and how the summer is going. So we will have that updated before the first day of camp. And of course, if it's a day you signed up for and whatever the actual anticipated activities ends up being, and it's not what you want, you're welcome to switch that day around, of course, too. But we will we will figure that one out. That's a great question. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Now, let's make this our official goodbye because it's 8:45 and the kids got to get to school. All right. Yeah? Everybody good? Okay, cool. Thank you all. And we'll get this. I'm going to turn this recording off and we will see everybody soon. Nobody be a stranger. Reach out with anything you need. Okay? Thank you all, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.